I think they're entirely entitled to look at Keir Starmer and say, what does this man believe in? And that's not an abstract question, because if he's making a big shift in policy, a 180, well, how certain can you be he's actually going to deliver on what he's saying?
We've all been following all of the twists and turns over the last couple of days after Keir Starmer's announcements when it comes to how Labour reckon they are going to fix the problem of immigration. Now, Aaron Bastani, many people are saying we can already see the kind of fractions, if you like, among the Labour Party. Suggestions, though, perhaps, that we could be heading towards some kind of internal civil war as people wrestle as to where the Labour Party should be moving in when it comes to direction of travel. Your thoughts?
So Keir Starmer's run a very tight ship. He's a real disciplinarian. You know, if you vote against the government, there's a 3-line whip, you lose the whip. He punishes MPs who dissent. That's been very successful so far. It was very successful in opposition. It becomes a problem when you start polling 20% in national opinion polls because, of course, people think, I'm going to lose my seat anyway, and that threat of losing the whip, maybe not being selected for the following general election, loses its lustre. So I think that Labour, probably for the next year, are going to have quite standard levels of, internal recrimination. We see that in parties frequently. When I think the lid comes off is probably going to be in the local elections next May. Sorry, you just had a round of them. You're going to have another round of them in 12 months' time. Scotland, Wales. Reform will do very well in Wales. Labour will do very poorly in Wales. Plaid Cymru will also do very well in Wales. SNP will do very well in Scotland. You've got every local authority in Greater London up for grabs. Leeds, Manchester, Liverpool, loads of authorities in Yorkshire, Lancashire. And I think between Reform, Plaid, the SNP, the Greens and a ton of independents, Labour are going to get a spanking. And that's when all this stuff, which is just beginning to bubble, I think that's probably when it pours over.
Yeah, and of course, don't forget the message that Keir Starmer actually took from May the 1st. He feels that actually people want him to go further and faster. How do you think this is going to play out?
Well, I think he thinks he should go further and faster. But I doubt whether the British public, I think the British public are totally disillusioned, certainly those that voted for them. Are they heading for civil war? Well, eventually they will. I take on the points, I think, that Aaron has mentioned. You start to get the rumblings, I think, over the next year. There'll be those who thought they should have been promoted who are, long-standing members of Parliament. You'll get those, the new MPs who think they would like to be Prime Minister pretty quickly. And also they're under huge pressure because if you look at their inbox, we had the most appalling budget, which was no help to the economy at all. We actually defeated this government on the winter fuel allowance, on national insurance contributions. They've got even problems in the rural community because for the first time they've got a lot of Labour MPs in the rural community, and obviously this is the whole farmers' tax. So, the latest wheeze is what they're going to do with immigration, it's all tough talking, and it's all talk the talk. But I have to say, I've no idea where it walk the walk. And now we've got the unemployment bill, which we've named it, coming up. So they have absolutely no idea how small and medium-sized businesses are going to be able to grow in this country with what they're actually proposing.
Have you been getting a load of spam in your email recently? What about random calls? It's really annoying, isn't it? Data brokers are out there collecting your personal information. Anything from your email, your full name, your address, and even your political affiliation. Cyber criminals can even use AI to mimic the voices of friends and family to trick people into sending them money. And it gets even worse. People out there are getting huge loans taken out in their names without even knowing about it. But don't worry, because the sponsor of this video, Incogni, can help. They reach out to the data brokers on your behalf and request that your information is removed from their databases. Incogni continues to make sure that your data is removed automatically from the internet via repeated removal requests. So, how can you get started? Well, step 1, hit the link in the description, create an Incogni account and tell us whose data you'd like removed. Step 2, grant Incogni the right to work on your behalf. Step 3, sit back, relax and watch Incogni work. They will update consistently so you know when your data has been removed. Incogni is risk-free for 30 days, so you can try it for yourself and you'll get a free refund if the service isn't for you. So take back your personal data today with Incogni. Use the code GBNews using the link in the description below and you'll get 60% off an annual payment plan.
Just let me pause for a second and give credit where it's due, because Keir Starmer, it did actually make me laugh today for a brief second, only that. Take a look at what happened today.
It seems the only principle he consistently defends is whichever he last heard in a focus group. So I ask him, is there any belief he holds which survives a week in Downing Street?
Yes, the belief that she talks rubbish.
Oh, come on, she's tutting. I mean, you're tutting away. I have got to say, it did actually make me chuckle, I do confess. But when it comes to Keir Starmer, you know, I don't know what's going on with his Twitter account, his X account at the moment. I don't know who's running that. He seems to have, whether or not he's had a complete personality transplant or if someone else is doing it on his behalf, he does seem to be tweeting quite a strange tone, if you ask me. And one of the things that caught my eye today, we're talking about immigration, he tweeted out this, really loudly and proudly: I've already returned over 24,000 people with no right to be here, and I won't stop there. Well, ladies and gents, that really annoyed me, because I found this a complete misrepresentation of what is actually happening, because out of those 24,000 people, there's only been 6,000 odd that have actually been what they call enforced returns. Christopher Hope actually put this to the Home Secretary a couple of days ago. Listen.
Where do you stand on that? 24,000 deportations, but only 6,000 enforced returns. That's not a lot, is it?
Well, it's more than 20% increase in
6,000.
enforced returns. You're absolutely right. We want to go further.
It blows my mind, this, Aaron, because I think people know that, well, if you're across this stuff, you will know that that figure of 24,000, it's not all that you're representing it to be. So if you're misrepresenting that for whatever reason, how is one supposed to trust you then when you're talking tough on the immigration stuff more broadly?
There's so much to unpack here. So firstly, Labour have made some pretty big announcements. Changing, for instance, the right to remain in the UK from 5 to 10 years, and that's also going to be retrospective and applying to people who've arrived since 2020, I believe. I mean, that's really, really big. That's a really, really big announcement. Where I think Keir Starmer, and you might think it's a good message or a bad message, I think it's probably going to save the hide of MPs where you're looking at Reform Labour contests. Maybe that's the plan. Right now, Labour are losing twice as many votes to Lib Dems and Greens. Right? The point is, where are those votes? There's no point having a 50,000 majority in London and losing by 20 votes in somewhere like Runcorn and Helby. So that's the plan. The problem is, even if you think it's a good plan, he's a very poor messenger. This is somebody yesterday, talking about his tweets, said that being able to remain in the UK is a privilege, not a right. He was advocating for continued membership of the European Union until 2019, including reversing the second referendum. Reversing the referendum, once a people's vote. The whole point of being in the EU was that if you're an EU national, you could come here, not as a privilege, but as a right. So it was a right. That's what he was defending. That's what he gave, you know, months and years of his professional life to. Now he's saying, actually, it's a privilege and not a right. And I think people, whether they're Reform voters, Lib Dems, Tories, Greens, whatever, I think they're entirely entitled to look at Keir Starmer and say, what does this man believe in? And that's not an abstract question, because if he's making a big shift in policy, a 180, well, how certain can you be he's actually going to deliver on what he's saying?
But are we seeing what he believes, or are we seeing what Morgan McSweeney believes?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. I find that a very interesting question. What do you make to it all, Jacqueline?
Well, the thing is, Keir Starmer's become an absolute expert on straddling the fence on both sides. I mean, I remember very well, as a former member of the European Parliament for 15 years, exactly what the Labour position was on pretty well everything to do with the EU. And obviously, migration was part of that. So he's done a complete volte-face. I mean, his party, actually, his parliamentary party, don't really know what to do, because you don't know whether they're going to weep or they're going to laugh every time he opens his mouth. So he's got half of them coming down on him like a ton of bricks, basically accusing him of being racist and everything else, because he's saying he's going to be deporting and stopping people coming in, and his comment on strangers in the country. And then you've got the other half who secretly, of course, have wanted a much tougher policy on immigration from them. You know, that we could stop this, they could stop this tomorrow if they turned the boats back. We've given France £500 billion. They're doing absolutely nothing because we can see all the footage on social media. We know the BBC and Sky and people, they don't show actually what's happening. And we'll believe it when we see it, frankly.
I'll tell you someone that doesn't believe it, Nigel Farage. They've wasted no time, Reform UK, putting this video together.
So we have to make the case for the benefits of migration, the benefits of free movement.
The whole United Kingdom is better because of immigration.
In particular, I'd like to thank the Home Secretary for removing the annual limits on work visas and also on international students, both of which I lobbied for.
The previous government, they wanted to deport us, but now they make the procedure easier for us.
So you like the Labour government?
Yes.
What a mess. I mean, who do you believe? And actually, it's not about whose words you believe. It's about who do you actually trust, I suspect, to actually be able to deliver whatever mechanism it is that you think is the right one to actually get a hold and a control of immigration in this country once and for all. Gareth says, isn't everybody bored of blaming everyone else for everything that's gone wrong instead of taking responsibility themselves?